Well, family, we're going to begin in 2 minutes, and so go ahead and get your coffee, your notepad. We're going to ask that you follow along. So I'm going to officially call our business meeting to order right at 9 a.m. I would ask you to ready your questions early on in the presentation because we are about a 3-minute delay of time to broadcast out to the platforms, and I don't want to miss your question. We'll take the questions at the very end, but it would be great if you'll get them in early. I know maybe you don't want to put them in too early because you don't know what we're going to cover exactly. But again, if you would ready them, and if the presentation answers the question, then we won't have to worry about it. So, but again, we'll be back at 9 a.m. sharp. Please go ahead and share this. Thanks. Well, good morning and welcome to our business meeting. I want to officially call our family business meeting to order. Today is Saturday, September 27th, 2025 at 9 o'clock a.m. And if y'all would give me a thumbs up out there to let me know that you can hear me okay, that would be great because I've just lost volume here in the studio and I want to make sure that everyone can hear me properly. So again, I'm calling our business meeting to order officially. I always take this moment to remind you of rights of our membership, and that is to know how the funds of our church are being spent, to know that the programs that you support through your giving and your serving are accomplishing the religious and tax-exempt purposes of which we have established, to know that we are complying with federal, state, and municipal laws. You know, it's funny how oftentimes we're picked on as a church, not just Word Tabernacle, any church, and people are so quick to say, y'all don't even pay taxes. We pay a lot of taxes. We just don't pay real estate taxes, and we can get a refund we don't pay property tax, we get a refund on sales tax. But trust me, when those invoices come in, we have to comply with state and federal and municipal laws like everyone else. You also have a right to know that restricted or designated gifts are, particularly within a project, are accomplishing the mission that we set out. A great example of that was the recent purchases of our fleet of vehicles. And those were designated giving, and you see evidence that we indeed did what we said we would do. And of course, you have a right to obtain our most recent audited financials. We actually make that really easy for you because whenever we receive the new audit results, we post them online. So you don't even have to call in and ask for them. They'll just get posted. And so we want to make those available. And of course, you have the right to give cheerfully, and we encourage you to continue doing that. I always like to lift up 2 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 20 from the New King James, the NIV, and the Message Bible. And so you hear this every week, every month, business meeting, but I'll just lift it up for the NIV, for the Message Bible. We don't want anyone suspecting us of taking one penny of this money for ourselves. We're being as careful in our reputation with the public as in our reputation with God. And so, again, this is something that we take really, really seriously as a membership. I always pause here in the beginning of these meetings to say thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to pastor the way that I pastor you and to be able to make some of the decisions that we make as an organization. So thank you for trusting us. This is our accountability back to you. And so today, we're going to move on with the meeting. You'll see as part of our agenda today, we're going to have scripture reading and prayer. I'm going to spend a moment with morning manna, and then we'll have the presentation of we'll have our financial statement, and then following our financial statement, we'll have a presentation of the various ministries, the highlights, what to expect, things to celebrate, etc. And then I'll come back for the State of the Church report, and at that point, we'll begin entertaining all of your questions. And so this presentation will be available to you online, and so not to worry if you don't catch all the information. And so I neglected to bring my Bible up here, so if someone would hand me that, that would be great. Thank you so much. And so Nehemiah chapter number 2 and verse number 17 to 20. I'm going to also use the same passage as our morning manna. It reads from the ESV. And then I said to them, you see the trouble we are in, how Jerusalem lies in ruins with its gates burned. Come, let us build the wall of Jerusalem that we may no longer suffer derision. And I told them of the hand of my God that had been upon me for good, and also of the words that the king had spoken to me. And they said, let us rise up and build. And so they strengthened their hand for the good work. But when Sanballat, the Horonite, and Tobiah, the Ammonite servant, and Geshem, the Arab, heard of it, they jeered at us, despised us, and said, what is this thing that you are doing? Are you rebelling against the king? And then I replied to them, the God of heaven will make us prosper, and we, his servants, will arise and build. I want to lift that up in prayer. The God of heaven will make us prosper. Lord, in the name of your Son, we thank you for being so good to us. We thank you for your hand upon us. God, as Nehemiah chapter 2 reminds us that we often need to be reminded of the hand of our God that has been good upon us. And Lord, we decree and declare that your hand has been upon us, not just as a church, but as people. And we believe in the name of your Son that you will enable us to prosper. And so, God, I decree it and declare it right now. I pray for our time together as a congregation in this family meeting. I pray for the presentations and the presenters and the data and the information. I pray, God, that confidence would exude in the midst of the ministry and all that we're endeavoring to do. And I pray, God, that your hand would just continually stay upon your people. Would you comfort families? Would you strengthen us? And for all that you're doing, we give you the praise in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Put those clap hand emojis in there. It's going to be a great meeting. I'm beyond excited. I'll always begin with morning manna. It's interesting. We have churches now around the country. We're adopting children. We have business meeting children. And what I mean by that is we literally have churches around the country that have adopted the Word Tabernacle business meeting model. And they do it much the way we do it. And they open up with morning manna, a little devotion. And so the Lord put something really heavy out of Nehemiah in my spirit. I want to share with you. I want to teach for just 5 minutes on sacred structure. And that sounds so weird, right? Because when we think of sacred things, we generally don't think of structure as sacred. I'm going to suggest to you that it is highly spiritual. It is highly sacred. And this is really the theme. For those of you that have been around, you know that I try to theme out the business meeting, the family meeting. And so this will align with the church, State of the Church report as well. And so we read Nehemiah chapter 2 already. And in the reading of Nehemiah chapter 2, I mean, you know the story, right? There's this evidence that the walls are destroyed. The people are in a place where they're just they're in danger. They're not properly being represented, not representing the Lord properly. Nehemiah, who's working for the government, sees the weight of all this, and he's just like, man, I want to do something about this. And in the midst of wanting to do something about this, he winds up taking on this unbelievable task of the completion of the building of the wall, and he does it in 52 days. Now, let me tell you the miracle of that. The miracle of that is in the structure. He doesn't just like haphazardly go about something. He literally has a plan. That's what I want to lift up today. So let me say 2 or 3 things by way of introduction. First of all, I want us to really be convinced that God blesses organized excellence. That when God looks upon us, and the reason he blesses organized excellence, and this is in our home, in church, whatever element of our lives we operate in. The reason God blesses organized excellence is because God is looking at us saying, wow, you care so much about what you're doing that you have put in this level of preparation. And because you have put in this level of structure and preparation, I have to bless you. And so he blesses organized excellence. We learn that in the book of Nehemiah. The second thing we learn in the book of Nehemiah and throughout the scriptures, we see this in Genesis, at creation, is that organization isn't secular, it is sacred. You know, I think sometimes we see organization from a business lens, from a corporate lens. May we be reminded that in the book of Genesis, when God is creating, he organizes, which means organization was not the plan of the world, it was the plan of God. God was the one saying, oh, wait a minute, we need water here, we need land here, and we need this animal group, and we need this reptile group. You think about it is God who creates organization, not man and not secular organizations. And so something is fundamentally wrong when we as a church feel like organization is too worldly. It's exactly the opposite. It is the height and the epitome of godliness. The Godhead itself is fully structured. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, right? And so everybody is structured that God has created. And so organization is secular, not sacred. The other thing is standing still. Oftentimes, standing still isn't faithfulness, it's foolishness. Now, what I mean by that is recognizing that here's Nehemiah seeing the reproach, seeing what is going on. He doesn't just take a step back and say, man, you know what? I'm not doing anything. A lot of times we think we can do nothing and still be declared as faithful. But the reality of it is there are moments in our life that God calls us to move, to operate in a certain way. And so I want to encourage somebody, even that's listening to this morning manna, that maybe God is saying this is the time, not for you to stand still and do anything, but this is the time for you to begin moving. You're going to see a massive restructure of our ministry because we have believed the greatest evidence of our faithfulness is in our movements. So there are 3 things that I want to lift up. Number 1 is planning. Chop that down in online. The first thing we see in Nehemiah is that there is planning, and whatever God is calling us to do, there should be planning. You're going to hear us say things like things that are ahead. And we're doing that because we want you to see that we are planning things. Now, in my planning, I need to understand that examination over emotional reaction. My planning is not an emotion of, oh my God, the house is burning down, I need to do something. No. That's not what my planning is. My planning is taking a real clear examination, not getting all bent out of shape. Notice when we see the evidence of how bad things are in Nehemiah, Nehemiah begins to pray. He's not planning because he's an emotional mess. He takes a step back and says, man, what I'm seeing is causing me to do something different. So it got to be planning. But let me say the other thing about planning. There needs to be private investigation before there is public implementation. Like before you run out and tell the world what you're going to do, take a step back in the counsel of your own heart, in the counsel of our own spirit, and say, man, you know what? I'm checking some things out, I'm having some conversations with God. Notice the prayer that he prays in Nehemiah chapter 1, right? He is praying. There's this private moment before there is any kind of public implementation. One of the worst things we can do is drag people into something that we ourselves have not fully thought out. That's a wonderful word for marriage, for relationships, for church, for ministry. Let me say it again for the people in the back, the people that's just logging on. Listen to me. It is a mess to drag people into my stuff when I have not fully thought it out or planned it out. And so plan it out. So the first thing we see here is planning. The other thing I want you to see about planning is that preparation is prophetic. You know, this is something that the Lord has really been laying upon my heart. I've been sharing it with our boards. I had meetings this week with the board of directors and also the board of elders. And I shared with them, we're making changes that we're making because we believe prophetically about what God is about to do. I'm about to say something, y'all, it's going to blow your mind. I'm not wrong. I'm convinced that this is what the Lord is telling me. Listen to me. The next 5 years are going to outpace the first 20 years. I need you to get that. This is why we are doing it, because prophetically we believe God is moving, and because of that we want to prepare ourselves. So preparation is prophetic. The second thing you see is partnerships. It's not just planning, but it's partnerships. Know that we need you. Type that in, we need you. What we're doing is presenting what we have done, not James Gaillard, not the pastoral staff, us collectively as a church body, the thousands of you that give every week, the thousands of you that give on a regular basis, the hundreds and hundreds of you that serve. This is partnership. And one of the things that we're trying to get at is specialization over general competence. And so you're going to see in the restructure of the church how we are really getting in specialty lanes so that we can be much more effective. You see this when we work on our houses, right? You don't hire a plumber if you have a carpentry issue. You don't get a carpenter if you have a roofing issue. You want people with specialized knowledge over generalization. The other thing is there's got to be coordinated collaboration, and you're going to see that in the restructure, how we are coordinating our partnership. We're working together in a way that we've never worked together before, so we know that we're going to get greater results than we ever have before. And then the final thing is persistence. The reason you need persistence is because the enemy moves when he sees us being faithful and moving. He's just not going to sit back and say anything. And sometimes, family, the enemy shows himself inside the camp. And so it's not, because be honest, really it's not people outside the camp that criticize, that bother us so much. It's the people inside the camp. It's the people in the boat with you. Can you imagine being in the boat rowing and you making progress, you moving, somebody in the same boat as you complaining about the fact that the boat is moving in the direction it is? So we need persistence because opposition will increase as progress advances. It is, you know, we've heard the expression new level, new devil, right? It's the same concept, as we have to be persistent because that opposition is not going to get less. It is going to increase. And I'm here to let the enemy know we are ready for your foolishness. And so, and then the other thing about persistence is that we have to remain focused under pressure. Keep the focus. Keep doing what God is calling you to do, because I'm telling you, you're doing a great work. and God is going to do exceedingly abundantly above all that you can imagine. If you're out there, say amen, type amen. I'm going to bring Shavonda up. Welcome her as she prepares to give us our revenue and expenses and our financial position for January to June of 2025. Remember, this is a biannual meeting, so at the end of this is what the bylaws say, at the end of the second and fourth quarters of every year, that we have to have a business meeting within 90 days. So that this is for the end of the second quarter, so January to June 2025. Those are the numbers you're going to see as she prepares to come.
Good morning, family. So I'm going to go over our financial position for January through June of this year. So as you see on the screen, there's the income and expense statement. So each column, you have the annual budget. We will have our actual year to date, our budget remaining, our variance, and then we'll also show the prior year. So for income, we had a total income this year from January to June of $2,642,840.51, which compared to last year, we were at $2,502,557.61. So we had an increase of giving this year compared to last year. Also for our expenses, we had a total expense of $2,335,707.55. Compared to last year, it was $2,549,280.11. So we lowered our expenses this year in comparison to 2024. So we have a total net income of $307,132.96 for this year. And last year, we were unfortunately at a net loss of $46,772.50. So this year, we're doing a whole lot better. We're doing about $350,000 more than what we did last year with our net income. So we're going to dive into the income. So for this year, our key drivers of income were tithes, offering, and tuition. So tithes brought in $1.8 million, and then tuition brought in $249,000, and offering brought in $241,000. So those were our key drivers. And as you see, we also have a lot of our areas are close to the 50,000 range, but there are a few that are falling short, such as Project Thrive, that is at 21%, pastoral support at 33%. So we encourage everyone to continue to give to Project Thrive and pastoral support. So as I said earlier, that our income for this year is higher. And unfortunately, it is lower than expected because we are only at 40% of our budget. However, we controlled our spending, which produced a positive net income position through June. So for our quarterly contributions, as you see in the first quarter, we raised $1 million. In comparison to 2024, it was $967,000. In Q2, that number did drop a little. So in Q2 of this year, we raised $935,000, and in Q2 of 2024, you gave $976,000. So as you see, in Q1 of this year, our giving had increased significantly, but in Q2, it dropped a little bit. But we just encourage you to continue giving. So in our next graph, we have our quarterly per capita giving. In Q1, our per capita giving was $781.64, and we had a total of 1,300 givers. And in Q2, our total was $729.12, and we had a total of 1,200 givers. So per capita throughout this year, it did decrease, but we are encouraging everybody just to continue giving, and hopefully we'll have an increase as the year moves along. So for member and non-member giving, the total amount of givers we had for this year were 2,510 givers, 1,448 were members, and 1,062 were non-members. So member participation was about 47%, and members, we were 91% of the total giving approximately $1.95 million. $1 million, and then non-member givers were 9% of the total giving about $200,000. So the average gift per giver for members was $1,349, and for non-members, $191. So member giving and participation by age. If you look at the member giving by age, you'll see that the highest age group for the number of givers is the 40 to 59 group, giving 37%. However, the highest dollar amount goes to the 60 to 76 group, giving 44.61% of all the dollars given. And if you look at member participation by age, if you look at that graph, you'll see that most of the age groups, they did increase. However, for the participation for ages 40 through 59, that did see a slight decrease of 1% in participation. So like I said, the strongest age given was the 60 through 76 with a total of $859,910. And then the next largest was ages 40 through 59 with $751,442, and giving was concentrated amongst our older members that are 60 and over. So when we look at our expenses, our total expenses for 2025 for January through June were $2,335,707.55. So we only spent about 35% of our budget. Our key spending areas were the Impact Center at $1,190,325.42. Coming in next was the Office of the Senior Pastor at $203,633.02. And then our third key expense area was Faith and Family at $201,356.78. So overall, expenses are being contained below the halfway point of this year's budget. So when we look at expense by function, on the left, you'll see 2025, and then on the right, you'll see 2024. So personnel for this year, January through June, was 42%. Ministry and outreach was 30%. Depreciation was 12%. Office and occupancy was 10%, and mortgage and loan interest was 6%. So personnel and ministry and outreach are our biggest expenses for 2025. And that's also the case for 2024. Personnel and ministry and outreach, they were our top, with personnel being 40% and ministry and outreach being 37%. So for our quarterly expenses in Q1, we spent $1,116,043.81. In comparison to 2024, that is lower because in 2024 we spent $1,202,416.76. For Q2, our expenses was also lower in 2025 than 2024 at $1,219,663.74. So in both quarters, we spent about approximately 13% less than what we spent in 2024. So for our capital spending, we had no capital spent on buildings, AV, or music equipment. Our only capital that we spent for this year was in vehicles, and we spent $162,329. And I know y'all seen those lovely vans that we have out there, so shout out to transportation. So for our financial position, our net income is $307,132.96. Our assets, our cash equivalents is at $1,446,989.50. And our accounts receivable are at $196,538.81. Our fixed assets are at $15,434,307.74. Our accumulated depreciation is approximately at $3,812,958.23, leaving us a total assets of $13,264,867.82. Our current liabilities, they're at $11,251.20. Our mortgage and our loans is at $5,818,301.14, leaving us with a total liabilities of $5,829,552.34, which gives us a total net assets of $7,435,315.48. So a few key takeaways were that we have a healthy surplus with an operating margin of $307,000. Our income is lagging in budget with only 41% of the annual income realized, but with 0% grant income being our biggest concern. However, spending is behind pace at 36% of budget, which is helping offset income shortfalls. And we are improving efficiency because it has reduced since 2024. Capital restraint is minimal, with vehicles being the only major purchase, and then the risk ahead if grants and underperforming categories such as Project Thrive and pastoral support in the cemetery don't pick up. Sustaining surplus may be difficult in the second half of the year. So now we'll start with Pastor Kyle reporting on the ministry and operations.
All right, everybody out there, y'all give hand claps to Shavonda and the work that she has been doing, and to yourselves, because that financial report is because of you, right? And so we're not going to dive into how all of that financial dynamic is lived out in ministry. We're going to start with our next generation and C3, which I've had the privilege of being able to support. And so the first thing is looking at some key accomplishments within our next generation programs. And so in this quarter, on this part of the year, we've had a lot of focus on preparing for this next ministry year, because we have the calendar year from January to December, but we also have the ministry year, which is essentially from September through June, and then we have our summer shift in July and August where we kind of recalibrate. And so in this time, from last semester throughout the summer, we have been doing a lot of preparation. We are firm believers that we can only offer what is available, and so we believe this is going to be a year of quality when it comes to next generation programs, which is one of our core values here at Word Tabernacle Church. And in order to have quality programming, we must have quality people who are equipped to do it. So we first had 3 leader colleges in this preparation. In a leader college, that's essentially where all of our next generation program leaders are coming in to be trained and equipped to be able to do the things that they are called to do. They have a purpose, and we believe Next Gen is a platform for that purpose to be presented. And so in our leader colleges, we have done practical training as well as vision casting to help our leaders be able and equipped to function within this ministry year. We've also had an investor symposium. With our investor symposium, that is open to anyone who serves in Next Generation, from those who are volunteering as investors and all of those who are leading programs. At the investor symposium, we also had people from other churches come. We had 2 other churches, one from Wake Forest, another from Rocky Mount, that joined us, because the investor symposium is not just geared toward Word Tabernacle Church, but it's about best practices for those who are serving. And so we had in that investor symposium some of our own programs that were, because we have experts in the house who are able to present about how to be trauma informed with our programming and ministry, so we can reach certain serve families really, really well. Additionally, for our training and onboarding with program leaders, we also have office hours. And so what that was is after Sunday service, they are able to come and just get any questions they have, whether it be about budgets, how to use Shelby tools, understanding the best practices for their areas. And so open office hours were available for those leaders as well. And lastly, we had our program-specific training. So our ministry launch for Next Gen is going to be in October. So this first week in October, we'll be doing a whole lot of new things coming. And so with our training, we do program-specific. If someone says, I want to be an investor, which is a person who comes and invests, they want to share not just the gospel, but their whole lives with the next generation. They want to invest themselves. They have to be equipped to do so. And in this year of quality, we have a philosophy that if you have opted out of training, if you've opted out of meetings, if you opted out of being present, then you're not able to serve until you are trained. And so this program-specific training is geared toward equipping and ensuring that when people show up to serve, that they are ready and that those they are serving will have the best and the highest quality in that experience. So in addition to preparation, we have also been preparing and launching out new programs, okay? So Next Gen has been from birth all the way through our young adults, and so there have been some new programs that have been offered, all right? One is we have now established our family programs, and so with our family programs, we have new leaders, Jonathan and Sharonda Bullock, who are coming on to help plan out things for the entire family. So a family program is gonna be everything from, hey, there's a new baby who's gonna be dedicated, they will show up to support those families, to hosting events where the entire family can come, whether it be that we're having Read with Dad Day, or there's gonna be a family picnic. And so the family programs are geared toward serving and equipping the entire family and whatever that village may look like. Our Head and Heart program is going to be coming from our counseling division, and it's a partnership with Next Generation. That team is going to be specifically geared towards serving and supporting families to make sure that the next generation is well, both emotionally and mentally, as they journey through life. And so that's going to be able to help out if a student is in crisis. It's going to also help support families with best practices and how to engage, because students in Next Generation are managing and dealing with so much, and so we want to serve them well. Additionally, our Head and Heart program is going to be giving us our best practice of how to function as a ministry who's engaging with the next generation. So these are people who are trained, they have degrees, they're clinical therapists who are coming together to say this is the best way that the church can support, because we do believe in spiritual growth, we also believe in emotional and mental growth, and we want to support in that capacity. And the last new program, one of the new programs we have is our Next Gen Special Events. With our special events, this is literally just exactly what it says. And so if you're interested in serving in any of these programs, go to our Ministry One tile, click on Next Gen tile, and then go to Become an Investor. With our special events program, that's everything from a one-off festival to VBS to help support those programs as they go throughout the year. One of the programs I'm very excited about is our Sons and Daughters of the King program. So this is a great example of a person who has passion, who is running with it and being seen working so that collaboration can be happening. So Katrina Body and Cleante Body started Daughters of the King separately just because she had a heart to do so and she wanted to invest in young girls. As that program grew, we saw that at the church and said we would love for that to come under the umbrella of our Next Generation programs and to support in partnership. And so with that, birthed the Sons and Daughters of the King as a part of our Next Generation program offerings here at Word Tabernacle Church. This program has been amazing. If you have seen on social media, if your child or people that you know have been plugged in, we encourage you to get plugged into. Not only do they have passionate leaders who are not just waiting for someone to say, will you do it? They jump in and they run with it. They've also been able to have partnerships where this is our core folks are members of Word Tabernacle Church, but this is also a partnership with people from the community who are coming in to invest in those middle school and high school students. On average, they're having about 60 students who are participating in that program. They have one coming up in October, and so make sure that you get plugged into it. And you can have, it's a palpable connection of relationship building. And so they come in, it is focused on mentoring and developing middle school and high school boys and girls. And so it is a phenomenal program. I encourage you, it is not just for WordTap members. All of the things that we offer for our next generation is for everyone to get plugged into. Some key data points that have been happening in this part of the year, all right? One is that summer camp has come and gone because summer is over, but we had a phenomenal camp with 63 registered campers. Our after-school program has now launched up, and we have 50 registered students participating in our after-school program. Additionally, another major thing that's happened is that our scholarship program happened. That is a year-long program. This isn't just you get a check and we see you later. Our scholarship council has been working throughout the year, and they also follow up with our students who are receiving those checks and that support, mentor support, give gifts to them. But we have been able to give $26,000 this year. And I hope that Word Tabernacle Church truly understands the weight and the importance of that. $26,000 from the church to support our students and our adults who are furthering their education. And so a student can get up to $10,000 from their church if they apply every year and get the top award from that scholarship program. Collectively, through the last 12 years, we have given $223,500 over the last 12 years toward schools. And we know homecoming was HBCU Divine Nine and a homecoming weekend. And I think it's important to note that out of that money, so many of our students are choosing HBCUs. And so in that partnership and through your giving, we're able not only to support HBCUs, but also students who are attending them in other schools as well. I do want to remind you and encourage you that the scholarship program, while the biggest chunk are going to our traditional four-year universities, we also, those scholarships are available for those who are any age attending community colleges, people who are going back to get their certificate programs and getting degrees that support them in the journey that they're going in. This year, we also opened it up to those who are going into their last year of graduate school. And so please make sure that you apply. You can go to wordtab.net/scholarships to learn more about that program, and the applications open up in the spring. And the last thing that we want to emphasize on this is that we had our internships. We had 2 interns that served here at Word Tabernacle Church throughout the summer. Those are college students who are able to make $20 an hour and have significant impact training and experience while they serve through the church. Some breakthrough moments to highlight. One is, I know we talked about the enrollment for summer camp, and we talked about the enrollment for after-school program. It is imperative to know not only how Word Tabernacle Church functions, but I just want to remind y'all of the heart of our pastor and our leadership as well. So when we were creating the budget for our summer camp, y'all, money is tight, inflation is high, and families are struggling. So one of the things that I talked with Pastor about and said if we could do it is if Word Tabernacle Church could help support by supplementing the overall cost for summer camp. Because if we charge what it costs to be able to pay people who serve, we would not be able to offer summer camp at cost, or it would be a huge burden to families. And so we were able to supplement that, which meant we could serve more people. And we're also able to serve people who have very different dynamics with their children. And when it comes to the new vans, we are only limited to be able to serve as many people based on the seats that we have. But because of your generous giving and because we were able to buy those vans, we were able to increase our serving to our after school program. And so those numbers are higher this year than previous years because of those things. Thank you for your generous giving because it empowers us to serve. All right, so a testimony. As we know, Next Generation is birthed all the way through young adults. So one of the testimonies that we have here is one with Cameron Lewis, who we all call Cammie. She came to church here at Word Tabernacle Church during a very difficult time in her life. In fact, we were to serve because of a funeral that she attended. And Cammie, I'm going to read a part of her testimony because I think that just saying the words in itself are important. She said, I used to rely on drinking to cope during a very difficult season, but everything changed when I walked into Word Tabernacle Church. From day one, I felt loved, not judged. I found hope, purpose, and a true village. Right? Cammie's testimony is extensive, and those of us who know her know a lot about the season that she was in. But even as she is now a new mom with baby Zolan, not only did she get a village, but her child does now have a village. And as she said, and she shared many times over, he has a lot of uncles and aunts who support and love him. And Cammie, we're so glad that you decided to come to church, come to the young adult brunch, and get plugged in. You are family with us. And these types of testimonies can be multiplied and shared many times over. But it's good to hear and see the impact of ministry and partnership in the community of the church. All right, we also want to celebrate. In Next Gen, we want to celebrate Mia Harris, who, if anyone knows Mia, knows that she is wide open and ready to go. But Nia has served with our Next Generation programs along with other ministry areas, but specifically with Next Gen, she serves in children's church. She has served with youth ministry. She has served with Kingdom Decisions and teaching our new members class. And she is now a program leader for our Next Generation Investor Recruitment Connections. And so, Mia, we just want to have a moment to spotlight and highlight you. And thank you so much for being faithful to the kingdom, because I know you serve in other ministries as well. But we're specifically want to thank you so much for investing in our next generation. You're making a huge impact. And as you see Mia walk around with her uniforms, connecting and recruiting people, make sure you say yes and come join the team. All right? What's next for Next Generation? As we have been saying, we have a need. We're growing as a church. And on Sunday mornings, we have a lot of families who are bringing children. And at 8 a.m., we are now launching our 8 a.m. Children's Church programming, okay? And so the 8 a.m. service starting on second Sunday in October, because first Sunday we have one 9 o'clock service. Second Sunday in October, we're going to offer all of our children's program for birth through preschool, and then also at 10 o'clock, or 9 o'clock service in October, first Sunday in October, we're relaunching our birth all the way through 5th grade. And so make sure you get your children plugged into what's going on, all right? And the last thing I want to emphasize on what's next is that we're going to be having a what's coming up in the ministry year on Sunday, 15 minutes after service. Come to the banquet room to meet Jalen Hill, but also to learn about what's been going on in our next generation programs for birth all the way through our young adults. All right, and we want to welcome Jalen. All right, Jalen Hill is one of our new programming directors. All right, and so with Next Gen, we have our children's director, Ayana Cooper, Next Gen director who's serving birth through children, all children programming. And then we also have our Next Gen director, Jalen Hill, who's serving middle school all the way through young adult. And so Jalen comes from, he's Rocky Mount born. He worked in Charlotte. He was a reporter there. He also worked as an EC teacher in Charlotte Mecklenburg schools before coming over to Word Tabernacle Church. He has a passion for discipleship and connecting next generation. And so on Sunday, after 15 minutes after service in the banquet room, please come meet Jalen and get plugged in to hear all the things that we're going to be going on with Next Gen from birth all the way through young adults throughout the ministry year. There's a whole lot of new vision going, and we would love to make sure that you're able to see it. All right? And next, we're going to have Pastor Stephanie with our faith, family, and fitness programming.
Thank you, Pastor Kyle. Not only am I excited about what's going on at Word as the director of Faith, Family, and Fitness, but as a parent who have children that are thriving in this ministry. And so I want to talk about some of the key accomplishments from the area. And as you know, we have a priority of baptizing people. We get excited on Sunday when we have people making decisions to say yes to Christ and when they actually follow through. And so in the first quarter, we had 361 decisions, people who said not only they wanted Word Tab to be their family, but they said yes to Christ. We had 59 baptisms and 150 people completed new members class. Now, the first quarter can be a little different because we have a surge of people make decisions at our New Year's Eve service. We have baptisms at New Year's Eve service, so they don't have to wait until January to get baptized because we have 2 in the month of December. And so generally, if we didn't have our New Year's Eve baptism, those numbers would be higher. But I just want to point out that people are still saying yes to Jesus, and we are excited that they are saying yes to Jesus at Word Tabernacle Church. One of the goals of our faith, family, and fitness area is to uphold the pillars of our church, as we know that we want everyone thriving. Yep, I see y'all typing it in. We want everyone thriving. And so one of those pillars is through fitness. We launched a new program, and you all jumped on it, and I can't wait to see everyone next Saturday at our 5K, but we launched a new program called Faith in Motion Fitness Initiative. It was to undergird some of our fitness programming already through our SOAR. So shout out to Denise Dunn-Surger, who have been leading our SOAR program. But this Faith in Motion Fitness Initiative was initially to prepare us for the 5K that we are running next Saturday. But because you all came in and 50 of you said, I don't want to just prepare for a 5K. I want to live a life that brings God glory through my body. This has become a whole initiative. And so we have the Abundant Living Thrive group that teaches people how to not only eat healthy, but prepare healthy foods. So 30 of you have said, I want to connect to that. And so we are just really being mindful of putting programs in place to support everyone in their thriving. I do want to give a little bit more information about the Abundant Living Thrive group, just in case when it opens back up for registration, you want to do it. We have Ms. Vicki Brown that leads that, and it is a wellness journey. We don't want people just to be fit in your clothing. We want you to be well in your soul and in your body. And so that is very important. And so the Abundant Living Thrive group really talks about taking us on a wellness journey that is biblical, is rooted in Scripture. And it emphasizes how to be whole, healthy, how to steward your bodies properly, and practical living. It's open to all adults, and it does explore plant-based nutrition. I don't know if you have been attending events this homecoming. We had plant-based options at our events. We have them at our leaders meeting. So we're really trying to support people in thriving in their health. We had some successful partnerships over this first quarter as well. And I want to just give a shout out to all of you who are using the systems. The first thing is we want to make sure everyone feels cared for, because we understand that you can't thrive in an environment that you don't feel like you're cared for. And so we had 171 care reports that we received and responded to through our care system. So that means a care leader reached out, a minister reached out to pray for you, someone busy at the hospital, because you let us know that you needed that care. You let us know that someone in your family had passed and you needed prayer, or you wanted us to support you in the bereavement process. You let us know that you were going to be in the hospital and you wanted somebody to come and see you. And so thank you for helping us care for you. 171 of you all reached out to the church and you let us know. So please, y'all, if you have a care or concern, let us know. You can go on our Ministry One app under our admin forms and you will see the care report link. You can click on that link and then fill it out, and then we'll respond accordingly. I already talked about the 150 people who completed their new members class and were introduced to opportunities to serve in small group opportunities. But I want to talk about our benevolent support. That's another way that we want to make sure our members feel cared for. So as a church, we receive benevolence requests. People need help with food, with some housing needs. They may need help just to get help with rent assistance. So we want to take care of our members. Shout out to our REAP Center who does that for our community, but we want to take care of our members. So through that, Word Tabernacle Church, we distributed $2,350 in support, some through gift cards, some through helping with rental assistance. But as a church, we understand, because the Lord has blessed us to steward upwards of 3,000 members, we understand that every time a need comes, we may not be able to maximize the support of that need. But we do the best we can. There is a cap per member that we can contribute to financially. So we have partnered with Self-Help Credit Union to maximize and extend our benevolent support. Through this program, we give, because if we had the money, y'all, we would give it. Y'all already know, you saw our financial reports. We want to support you. But through this program with the Self-Help Credit Union, we also want to make sure that people are not only supported, but they are equipped to be empowered. We don't want to just keep giving away. We want to make sure we are good stewards of our finances. So through this partnership with Self-Help, you will be able to, if you have a need that's over $500, you will be referred to this program. And so it's a loan program with a low interest rate. And so self-help determines the interest rate is the lowest that at that time. So I know things fluctuate. So it's a low interest rate loan program. Over 12 months, you will receive the funds, and over a 12-month period, you will have a financial plan to pay it back. The difference between this initiative and a regular loan is that the interest that's acquired is put away to give back to you. So over 12 months, you pay the money back with the interest, and you get it back at the end. You also have to complete 3 financial counseling sessions so that we can acquire the skills to really be empowered in our finances. And then you will be able to enter in their programs that they have to help with first-time home buyers, business initiatives, and the resources go on and on. So shout out to Nicole Lucas, who is a member at Word Tabernacle Church, and she presented this opportunity to us, and because we want people to be empowered, we jumped on it. Y'all, let me say, this is a pilot program. We are the first church that they are doing this with. So thank you for your patience, your understanding. Thank you for your support of it, because we are piloting it, and I am so excited about the families and the individuals that we will be able to support. So we also not only support people in finances with our benevolent support, but we are serious about supporting people in time of bereavement. We supported 21 families from January to June through our funeral support process, either through hosting a funeral, attending a funeral, sending a resolution, because we want to make sure that you know that you are a part of a family and that you are not alone. And so we have several testimonies, and we try to collect some over the entire area. But Keith Anderson gave a testimony. Shout out to Keith, because he's one of our Faith in Motion leaders. But he talked about how being in the Faith in Motion initiative has inspired him to become more disciplined. And we know disciples of Christ are disciplined people, right? We can't say yes to everything our flesh wants. And so that outcome of being disciplined, is one of our goals. Keith also talked about the accountability from others in the group and how it pushed him to want to be better. You will see that we also started, and I'll report the numbers in our next business meeting, but we started a financial stewardship initiative in response to one of Pastor Series in his grown up faith, right? Grown up faith. And we partnered with some financial organizations in the community to give some series and seminars to people. Nidra and Solomon, Maryland went through that, and their testimony is that they have a renewed enthusiasm to enhance their current financial strategies. So a lot of the support that some of the support that we do is not just to inform us, it's to remind us of what we already know. And so that being inspired is one of the things that we hope that you all have a testimony from interacting with us. And then we have a testimony from Robin Frank, who participates in the Abundant Living Thrive group that we highlighted. And she just talked about the information, the inspiration, and equipping her to prepare certain foods and introduce her to certain foods that she wasn't even aware of. So shout out to all of you all who trust us and you take advantage of the resources that we give. So I do want to celebrate Miss Vicki Brown. You probably heard her name several times, as she is the leader of the Abundant Living Thrive group. She also helps with our culinary team to make sure that we have options at our events where we serve food, so that we have vegan options, because those who are participating in veganism is really growing, and we want to support. Vicki is also a district care leader. So she is a district care leader for District 7, and she is the main contact person for our 5K event. She brought it to me. She has taken it and she has ran with it. She is running with it, no pun intended, but she is the leader of our 5K. So Vicki Brown, we celebrate you because, as Pastor said in the beginning, this is not the work of those who you see presenting. This is the work of all of us, and this work will continue, and these next 5 years will outpace our last 20 because of you. What's next? We are streamlining our processes to the point of Pastor's morning manna of structure. We want to make sure that we are able to respond to you quicker and more effectively. So we want to be efficient and effective in our care. And so we are partnering with the Lester Group to implement some systematic funnels that integrate AI. AI is here, y'all. And we want to use it for our benefit and combine it with our Shelby database that we already use. And so you're going to hear announcements about funnels, about those who make decisions, first-time guests, those who plan their visit, and members who submit care reports. We want to respond to you quicker and more effectively. And also, we are launching a very aggressive recruitment campaign for our district care leaders because our goal is to get to 25 members to one care leader, right? So we will need to grow by 15% each year for the next 3 years to reach that ideal ratio, because we know, and shout out to our care leaders who are doing it now when they have 65 to 70 members per one care leader. Shout out to you. But we want to be a better steward of our people, and so we need you to be care leaders. So you'll hear a lot about systems and structures and things that we're putting in place, but the thing I want you to be mindful of is that we care about your care. We want to make sure that you are informed, so our communication is we want it to be consistent and effective. And then we want to make sure that not only are you cared for, you communicated to, but we want to make sure you're celebrated. And so we thank you for all that you are doing and continue to do for the ministry. Now I'm going to bring up Pastor Rhonda to present on community capacity. She will also do our ECD campus and media.
Family, we have been doing some great things, and we are continuing to do great things. Let me just reposition a little bit. And I am excited to just be a part of this church. But I'm going to talk about community and capacity, and our first slide is that some key accomplishments of what they've been doing. They've added 15 people that they will do for the prison ministry. They've added 2 additional prisons that they actually visit. It is the Nash Correctional Center and the Raleigh Women's Prison. They also are continuing in their nursing home ministry that meets once a month. That still continues. And then the Reach Center. This is our outstretched hands in this community here. And so Reach operates off of 4 pillars. The 4 pillars, the first pillar that they are operating on is economic development. And that economic development, one of their key things that happened this year is that they worked on the app for the Thrive List. This is supporting ministries, or actually businesses in the community where you can list your business, and that we can all know what the businesses are so that we can make sure that we are supporting those businesses. And so in that, they're also doing the Thrive Think Tank, which is focusing on entrepreneurship. The entrepreneurship, we partnered with Nash Community College, and you go through a program, and through that program, you're able to get some information that will help you in your business, to help you make your business thrive. And at the end of this program, they offer an opportunity to even win a prize. There will be something that is upcoming, which is our Holiday Expo that is going to be in November. And so these are the things for the Thrive list. There are several that have given a testimony in regards to the businesses. Business owners appreciate the fact that we have the app that allows them to be able to promote their business. So what's next? We have a think tank that is coming up, and that's the same thing. We're going to be focusing on that with the Thrive, the Nash Community Center. The second pillar that we're going to be focused on, that Reach Center focuses on, is health and nutrition. I'm really excited about this one, is that we have started a Thrive Garden. This is located behind our Reach Center. This is so that we can grow fresh vegetables. This is like a community garden so that we would be able to support those that are in the community that are just in need of some fresh vegetables. So this is really, really key. I love that about that. And currently, we are serving through our mobile market. We are currently serving over 200 households a month, which is a great big deal. We also have what we're focusing on is the Pantry Angels program, and that started in June. And this is where people are donating different staples for the pantry so that people's pantries cannot go empty. And so we are partnering with people, and people are giving so that we can continue to give. And that's what it's all about. God teaches us that we ought to be givers. So you should be just sitting and just making sure that you go to the mobile market, but you're supplying something to your community as well. So they are celebrating those that are that volunteered: Miss Charlene Smith, Mr. and Mrs. Frank, and Mr. and Mrs. Short, and then Miss Cynthia Jones. These are all star volunteers. They are instrumental in the garden. They're instrumental in leading the food distribution. They're instrumental in helping with the pantry helpers. And so we have shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for all you do. So what's next is that we'll have the Thrive Garden. Of course, we're growing now. Actually, we had some pictures. We didn't have those up there, but we have the garden. Some of the things are growing now, but then we're having a first harvest is in fall. And then we're going to strengthen the Pantry Angels recruitment and outreach. And we're also going to expand the Food Access Pantry program and continue expanding healthy food access and nutrition education. Education is really key, you guys. Some of the key points and taken away from our third pillar, which is the affordable housing, is that we currently we are helping 16 households. 12 of those are people that we actually have in houses that are getting assistance for rent and utilities. And the other 4 are getting some education in regards to how to maintain in the community and have that support. During the first half of the year, we had over 1,000 calls that the Reach Center actually received in order to be able to help and to respond to those that are in the community. So we've had some breakthroughs and some follow-ups with our case management. As you know, like I just said, that we have over 1,000 calls. That takes some time in order to develop these cases, go through this. And so our Reach Center has been maintaining, and they have been consistent with this in following up and managing those cases. And shout out to those that are helping the clients. There has been a testimony. It says, I feel like I couldn't catch a break, and I didn't have any kids, but I was struggling to get on my feet, even though I was working hard. 2 deaths in my family set me back, and I couldn't get caught up. And I'm so grateful for the help of Reach. I'm back on track. This is what we like to hear, is that we are helping others to thrive. Remember, Pastor Stephanie said it. We always say it all the time. Is everyone what? That's right. Everyone thriving. So what's next is that we want to expand our landlord partnerships to increase available units for housing for people. We want to strengthen the wraparound support services for household families, and we want to grow collaboration with domestic violence services. Our fourth pillar is our workforce development. We are currently partnering with the Nash Community College and Turning Point so that we can be able to get employment for people that are out of work. and then also some training. So we also want to do that as well. The breakthrough moment, that's what we are doing. We're partnering with Nash Community College in the Turning Point. And what's next is that we are finalizing the workforce curriculum with Nash Community College, and that we want to launch some pilot sessions in 2025, later on in the late of the year, and then to integrate job placement support along with training. One of our, even though we have multiple Thrive cities, I think we have like 8 Thrive cities, and the one that we want to highlight this time is Tarboro. Tarboro has been doing some great things. That they've launched a food pantry right there in Tarboro at the W.A. Patillo Middle School, and then that goes on between March and July. They've helped over 102 families that are served there. I mean, these families have children, y'all. So this is good. This is good. Shout out to Tarboro. That back to school event, they also served 250 people, and then they had 16 volunteers at that event. So that was great. The next section that we're going to talk about is one that is near and dear to me, which is East City, y'all. East City. So East City has had some accomplishments. One of the accomplishments that we've had is that we've increased our moderators. Moderators are the people that actually communicate with you online, and so this is good. We've increased over the last year 20%. We've had 20, now we have 20 active moderators. But even though I sent that shout out, and even though I say that, that doesn't mean that you can slack off and say that they have enough. Shameless plug. I need y'all to go ahead on and sign up so that y'all can moderate. And so we provide the coverage for, we moderate across all 3 platforms. Of course, we're trying to go streamline that down to 2 platforms for the live services only. I don't want my Facebook family to panic, because we're not going away from Facebook altogether. We're just talking about just some live events. So still stay plugged in on Facebook, okay? And that we want to make sure that we are delivering just not only moderating as a gatekeeper, making sure that our worship services are unhindered or uninterrupted, but we also want to make sure that our moderators are delivering you information. So in the chat, you'll often see about upcoming events. Our moderators are just on it, so they are fabulous. One of the things that we're mighty proud of is that our Facebook reach and growth, over 65,000 individuals that have received the campaigns that we put out, the advertisements, all of that. It is because of you. You know, I tell y'all all the time, make sure you like and share. And this is how we can get this number to up and increase it higher. I want to see more than 1 million. Okay, we at 65,000 now. I think we can do it, because if we continue to like and share. Not only that, but we've grown from the last year of 2024, the last 2 quarters of 2024, 96%, because we've added 960 new followers. I want y'all to follow on Facebook. That is imperative. This is how we can spread the gospel, spread the word. Not only do we have the Facebook, but we also have a YouTube viewer surge. 42%, there's been a 42% rise in first-time viewers. I love that, first-time viewers. That means that equates to over 3,900 new individuals have then logged on and then been able to watch our broadcasts. That means that's because, I continue to say it, like and share, okay? And so we want to make sure that we're doing that. So over 440 new subscribers have joined to YouTube. So look, like if you're on YouTube now, just go ahead and subscribe right now. I mean, because y'all are already there. We also have an Instagram impact, and so that has grown to 19,000 viewers, which is a 41 percent increase in visibility over our last 2 quarters. That is amazing on our Instagram. But while we're mainly focused on our U.S. Population, I mean, we have the main viewers are in the U.S., but we actually have viewers that are in South Africa, the UK, and even in India. And I want y'all to know that this is major because India is not a Christian is not a Christian country. I mean, it is one that, so because you liked and shared, because you know somebody that's in the military, because you know that somebody is there, that we're spreading the gospel even beyond the US borders, and this is key. Pastor Stephanie already told you about, I think there was over 300 kingdom decisions that were made. Well, there were 107 of those in these first 2 quarters were the online kingdom decisions. And so we have had an influx. The last 2 quarters we had 89, but this time we've had 107, and which equates to about an 18% increase. And so we are doing it, y'all. We are spreading it, and people are coming and joining from places like Texas and Maryland. I mean, we've had all over. So I am excited about how the word has been spreading. But not only is eCity just online, but because we are online, I just have this testimony, and I'm not going to read it. I just want y'all to read, kind of follow along with me. I just feel like led to just say it. But we've had a person that was watching online that she's been to church only like maybe a couple of times, but mainly her focus has been online, and she was up for heart surgery. She had the heart surgery. It was a success. But when I tell you, y'all, that I called to minister to her, but then she ended up inspiring me, and then it is just spread from there. Not only now does she continue to watch, but her daughters are also watching, and that's her daughter up there, Miss Jessica. So I celebrate. I thought about, let me just try to pick 1 or 2 people to celebrate. But I said, look, I got to shout out to my whole team, because the moderators are doing it. They are joining. They are actually helping to train other moderators. They're having to shadow. So not only are they just doing their job on Sunday, but they're actually allowing others to shadow them and learn to be moderators. And that is good. Also, we have altar counselors, which is like the eCity altar counselors. These are people that reply to the online kingdom decisions. I am excited about what they are doing, and so that team is growing. And also, but if I had to like focus on 2 people, I would say Minister Vanessa Ward and Stephanie Johnson. They are a vital part to the ministry, and shout out to you, ladies. I could not do it without you. So what's next for eCity? Well, it is increased online small groups and increased community involvement. We not only want you to be, what do I say all the time? We don't want you to be spectators. We want you to be participators. And so how do you participate? Is that you join small groups. How do we participate? Is that we get in the community and then be in your community right along with you, or inspire you to do something in your community that might be in a different state. And so this is on the horizon next for eCity. I'm so excited about eCity, y'all. And all right, and our next section that we're going to talk about is media and broadcast, another area that is near and dear to me. I love media. And so for media, we've had some accomplishments. Not only I listed out the number of viewers that we have, but media has been able to push out live streams, like the lives. And so that number has increased. They've successfully launched the E4 conference digital platform with a strong engagement. They've upgraded the worship center video systems for improved quality and reliability during services. So we're doing some things even behind the scenes to make sure that eCity is good, to make sure that the word spreads outside of the church walls as well as inside of the church walls. So one of the things, the major accomplishments is on YouTube, we have noticed that there has been a tracking of over 100,000 views of our services. Over 100,000 views. Not only that, but on Facebook, we've had over 1 million views. This might mean that some of you are doing like I suggested. Go back and watch that video again. Go back and watch it again and again so that you can get all of the notes so that you can continue to grow. And so not only that, we're expanding. So we have more than 50,000 content interactions across the platforms in this quarter. It is good stuff. And so we've had a breakthrough moment. We've had a ministry fair, and we have increased the team membership. That's always good when somebody wants to join and be a part of what we're doing here. And then we've also reduced the turnaround time and improved communication with potential volunteers. And then we strengthened recruiting and onboarding, ensuring long-term sustainability for the team. We've had some testimonies. It says, through our broadcast and social media platforms, Word Tabernacle has been able to reach members in the extended eCity family in ways that we couldn't otherwise be possible. We've heard countless stories of members who first connected with us online and later had the opportunity to meet in person when pastor or members of our team visited their area. What began as digital engagement has grown to real relationships and spiritual community. I love it. So shout out to two people on the media team. We're going to shout out Lamar Godwin. Hey, fam. And we're going to shout out to Tiffany Armwood. Hey, fam. As a new member, Tiffany is brought on board and that she's going to be managing some of our social media platforms, and Lamar does our sound. All right, and then what is next? We're going to implement an automated backup streaming workflows to reduce downtime and roll out additional QCs integrations for smoother operations in overflow spaces and expand volunteer training. All right, so I'm going to just go ahead and put the shameless plug in for media as well. We need you. Just because we said that we increase doesn't mean that we don't need you. And next up, we're going to go back to our Pastor G, and he's going to talk about the Impact Academy.
Can y'all clap hands and all that out there? Put the clap hand emojis in. You know, I'm sitting here thinking. I've got my phone because I'm logging in, watching your feedback and all of that as well. But I think one of the things that's striking for me is that the church is just doing well in so many spaces, and I'm grateful that. So, and one of those spaces is Impact Academy, and this is significant because we have officially been accepted into the North Carolina pre-K program, and so those slots are increasing on a regular basis. We have very little staff turnover, and we have very high retention amongst the students that participate, and so really grateful for that. The program is growing. We anticipate on adding a grade level every year until we get to third grade, and I'm going to talk more about what that will look like in the weeks that come ahead. One of their breakthrough moments is just the implementation of their structured daily schedule with dedicated learning and play and reflection periods. And so we're starting to see an increase in the on-task engagement, a reduction in classroom disruptions, and an improvement in teacher efficiency. And so again, in every area, we really are pushing the envelope so that we can do better and better work in every regard. There's a wonderful testimony here. Families are sharing their gratitude and appreciation for the growth that has taken place with their little bundles of joy while being a part of TIA, the Impact Academy. And so really I'm grateful for the work. There's been a significant increase. One of the questions was around tuition. Like, what's tuition? And we answered it, but tuition is the income that comes in through the Impact Academy, which has extended. We continue to have a wait list, but we're continuing to work on growing that particular area. Toya submitted a celebration of Carol Hines. She is their reigning Teacher of the Year, And so we celebrate her. She's been with us for quite a long time. We celebrate Carol Hines and all of the staff at the Impact Academy. What's next is the Impact Academy is going to be submitting an application to North Carolina Department of Public Instruction to expand early education up to 3rd grade. So again, every year we're going to add a grade level. And I'm going to talk in great detail about why we're doing that and why it's going to be impactful and why it's going to be important to the community. There's some new staff that have come on board, and so shouting out our newest teacher, Delois Jones, and of course you'll see her around the facility and throughout the building. And then worship and arts. Let me go through worship and arts real quick before I get to the State of the Church report. And so you probably saw Homecoming Sunday, right? The choir is fully back. They did such a great job. I mean, we traditional old school church now, y'all. We got seats on the stage for the choir again, right? So really shout out the growth that we see in this area. We have a new band who's just doing great work. Our dance ministry is really, really growing. And so the travel team and all the young people that are participating in that, it's wonderful to see their growth. And not just the art side, but the spiritual side that comes out of the work that they're doing. And so the Word Up Teen Dancers, the Expressions of Faith Mind Ministry, New Spirit, and Truth. I mean, it's just so much good work coming up on the performing or the art side of things. And I just really want to shout that out. So shout out to, and we have some new staff in those areas as well. And so I want to get to the State of the Church report. Because I'm going to be inserting some things, and so you probably won't be able to read that, and so they'll probably just put the camera on me, and I'll read it to you, but you'll be able to download it, and you'll be able to get to it online. And so this is the State of the Church report. Dear Wordites, grace and peace be multiplied to you and to your families. As I write this report, I'm reminded of how good God continues to be. For those of you new to this report, you are reading my heart in written form, a tradition born from watching presidential addresses and recognizing the power of honest analysis to educate and empower our congregation. 25 years into my pastoral journey and 20 years into this remarkable ministry, I stand before you not just as your pastor, but as a witness to God's unprecedented faithfulness. We've grown from a handful of dreamers to over 3,000 members strong, baptized 2,300 souls, and have defied every statistic that says churches like ours shouldn't exist, let alone thrive. But here's the raw truth. Success without structure is unsustainable. That y'all can go and tweet that out. Y'all hashtag that out. Let me give y'all another one. Growth without governance becomes chaos. Vision without proper vessels leads to missed opportunities. That's why we're restructuring. Not because something's broken, but because God's blessings have outgrown our current organizational framework. So there's a biblical imperative of organizing for abundance. Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain, Psalm 127. This restructure isn't administrative housekeeping, it's prophetic preparation for what God has planned next. Scripture shows us that even Jesus organized strategically. He didn't just wander around hoping for impact. He sent out the 12, then the 72 in Luke chapter 10. Paul didn't plant churches haphazardly. He established clear leadership structures in every city according to Titus. When the early church faced growth challenges in Acts, they didn't pray away the problem. They restructured to meet the need. Like Jethro counseling Moses in Exodus 18, wise voices around us have said, what you're doing is not good. The work is too heavy for you, cannot handle it alone. Good leadership requires systems that can handle the weight of God's provision. Before we dive into structural changes, let's acknowledge the spiritual and financial foundation that makes this restructure possible. Your faithful giving and sacrificial service. Our strong financial position didn't happen by accident. It happened because Wordites understand biblical stewardship and the multiplication principle of generous giving. In 2024, we achieved record-breaking member and partner giving with total contributions exceeding $4 million. Our financial position remains exceptionally strong with over $1.2 million in cash reserves, $13 million in total assets and net assets of $7 million. Here's the shouting part. We are pacing to exceed this in 2025. Through disciplined expense management, we've maintained positive cash flow while investing in ministry expansion. Our expenses remain below budget projections, creating sustainable growth patterns. Beyond financial gifts, your service commitment makes ministry possible. Every department in our new structure depends on volunteers who serve with excellence, dedication, and spiritual passion. Your willingness to serve in children's ministry, hospitality, worship arts, community outreach, and administrative support creates the human infrastructure that enables professional staff to focus on strategic leadership and not only operational management. Let me put our current reality in perspective. While 1,400 pastors leave ministry monthly nationwide, and only 15% of churches grow, Word Tabernacle has become a unicorn. A church our age doing impactful work. You've seen all the reports. A church our age doing impactful work outside of a major metropolitan area. The 10 churches I routinely study for best practices are on average 76 years old. Word is 20 years old, y'all. Most successful ministries our age are in cities with major universities or military installations that fuel their growth. And that's why I say we're a unicorn. Yet here we are in Eastern North Carolina, not just surviving, but thriving. Multiple campuses, multiple ministries, comprehensive community impact that addresses economic inequity, food insecurity, health disparities, systemic injustice. We're not managing decline like 85% of American churches. We're organizing for the abundant harvest that God has prepared. And so with that said, I want to introduce a new structure that will become effective October 1st in our implementation phases, our rollout phase, and then fully blown on January 1. We are forming a council of elders, which provides our unified spiritual and fiduciary leadership. So we're merging our board of directors and our board of elders, and we're creating a biblical accountability that provides vision, oversight, instruction, and protection. This council will reflect diversity of gifts, generations, genders, and experiences, because effective leadership in 2025 requires multiple perspectives working in unity. We will rebrand the office of the senior pastor, and I will focus more heavily on strategic vision and community impact. And so beyond pastoral care and preaching, my office will coordinate community impact toolkits, civic engagement, leadership development, and succession planning. We're not just shepherding souls, we're developing comprehensive strategies to address the systemic issues that keep our communities from thriving. There's going to be eventually 3 chief officers, a chief ministry officer, a chief corporate officer, and a director or manager of community impact and strategic development. Within this will be 8 specialized departments. So everything that you just heard today, we are about to multiply. Everything you heard is going to be put on steroids. So there will be a Department of Early Education and Formation, building foundational faith and academic excellence from infancy through elementary years. The Impact Academy serves as our flagship early childhood development center, providing comprehensive care that addresses education equity while establishing strong spiritual foundations. Personal development and discipleship, creating intentional pathways for spiritual maturity and leadership development across all life stages. This department coordinates small groups, mentoring programs, ministers in training, singles ministry, comprehensive Thrive groups. Community transformation and outreach, positioning Word Tabernacle as the regional hub for faith-based community development. This department will drive economic equity initiatives. You heard about some of that. Nonprofit capacity building through our cost program, prison and nursing home ministries, global witness strategies, food security, and comprehensive missions work. Membership care and wellness, orchestrating the complete member journey from first visit to mature discipleship through holistic support, addressing spiritual, physical, emotional, and relational needs. The department will manage guest experiences and assimilation, member care through districts and zones, hospitality, health and wellness initiatives, marriage and family support, women's ministry, and specialized fellowship ministries. performing arts and worship, unifying all creative expressions under single leadership to deliver powerful, spirit-led encounters that amplify Christ's message across all generations. Campus management and services. This is an open position. You're going to see that there's a director position that's about to be posted here, providing comprehensive facility stewardship and revenue generation that maximizes utilization of our physical assets while creating additional income streams. The department manages office operations, facilities, and maintenance across all locations, security and safety through stronghold keepers, transportation services, venue management and rentals, culinary service. We're a lot of bookstores. This is a big job, y'all. Fitness center operations, cemetery management, and information systems and technology. We are be introducing in the final quarter of this year. So sometime before the end of the year, we will be introducing and presenting to you a formalized restructure of what the cemetery looks like. We've met with the right companies. We know the direction we're going to need to go in, and we're prepared to do that. So stay put. And if you haven't been over to the cemetery, a new structure has been built over there, phenomenal structure where we can then take the remains there in the event of inclement weather. So if the ground is too wet and can't do the burial, so we have made provision for that. And we planted 45 crepe myrtle trees. So when you hit that corner and see the cemetery, you just follow the trees, and they'll take you straight to the cemetery. So it's really being beautified, and we really are making real emphasis over there. Fiscal services and compliance, serving as the administrative engine, managing God's resources with integrity, transparency, and strategic vision. That's why we do this meeting twice a year, because we want to be transparent. This department oversees fiscal affairs and accounting, human resources, payroll, grant management, donor and member database administration, purchasing, procurement, all the things. Digital discipleship and media. What Pastor Rhonda did not tell you is that starting next month, she will be a full-time employee of Word Tabernacle Church. And so we feel so strongly about the East City campus. We feel so strongly about digital discipleship that we don't want to do it on a part-time basis. And to be honest, I don't think we ever did it on a part-time basis. It was just that Rhonda was working a full-time job and pretty much being here full-time. And the Lord has blessed to be able to make a pathway that she can be here full-time. So if you're East City, I want you to know that the staff, the full-time staff pastor responsibility is radically growing. So now we have a full-time staff person dedicated to discipleship and small groups, a full-time staff person dedicated to early education, a full-time staff person dedicated to financial integrity and compliance, a full-time staff person dedicated to just membership needs, internal members, a full-time staff person dedicated to the community, and a full-time staff person dedicated to everybody on East City. So we taking this work seriously, y'all. And so we're excited about digital discipleship and media that will create a comprehensive digital ministry platform that extends Word Tabernacle's reach through innovative technology, strategic media production, broadcast services, social media engagement, web design, digital presence, all the things. And as Rhonda said, with a lot of artificial intelligence, and I think Stephanie references it well, a lot of AI integration. Why are we doing this? First of all, because we want enhanced stewardship. Our restructure creates an unprecedented accountability and resources optimization through systematic stewardship practices that honor God and maximize ministry effectiveness. Clear department boundaries eliminate ministry silos, while strategic coordination prevents duplication of efforts. Every dollar and ministry hour will now serve measurable outcomes aligned with our Everyone Thriving vision. The structure ensures maximum impact from every resource God provides. Fiscal Service and Compliance Department implements professional grade financial tracking, grant management, budget analysis that provides real-time visibility and ministry effectiveness. Each department operates with defined budgets, clear success metrics, quarterly performance reviews that ensure faithful stewardship of both human and financial resources. The Campus Management and Service Department transforms our facilities from expense centers into revenue-generating assets through venue rentals, co-working space leasing, culinary services, strategic partnerships. I'm almost done the report. Y'all don't forget to put your questions in, because once I'm done the report, we'll be winding up. This generates sustainable income streams that reduce dependence on traditional giving while expanding ministry impact. When you give to Word Tabernacle, your dollars multiply through professional management, strategic partnerships, and innovative revenue generation. The other reason we're doing it is for sustainable growth. The development pipeline from early education through personal development will create a seamless pathway for lifelong spiritual formation that builds mature disciples rather than mere attendees. Instead of random programming, we now offer intentional progression routes where a child in our Impact Academy can grow through our youth ministries, participate in leadership training, serve in specialized roles, and eventually lead departments themselves. I literally see today where an 8-year-old is going to join our church, they're going to be discipled, and 20 years later, they're going to be a staff person or a key leader in this ministry. We're doing it for the systematic approach to spiritual formation ensures we're not just gaining members, but developing mature disciples who can reproduce themselves. The structure creates sustainability because each generation trains the next. Each leader develops additional leaders, and each ministry area builds expansion for a capacity for expansion. Third reason we're doing it is for community transformation excellence. Our dedicated community transformation and outreach department positions us to address systemic issues with laser focus rather than scattered efforts. Economic inequality, food security, insecurity, health disparities, criminal justice reform, and housing challenges now receive strategic attention through specialized staff and coordinated programming that's going to create measurable community change. The Reach Center will become an in-house ministry community development laboratory where innovative solutions are tested, refined, and scaled for regional impact. Economic equity initiatives will provide Black and minority business development supports, and entrepreneurship mentoring that creates generational wealth in our community. The CAUSE program will build nonprofit capacity across Eastern North Carolina. Food security programs will address hunger through strategic partnerships, community gardens, nutrition education, policy and correctional institutions. Mental health and counseling services will provide culturally competent care that addresses trauma, addiction, and family dysfunction. I can't say enough about the importance of cultural competency. There's a video surfacing of a white pastor who just goes after Black culture and literally says, if a Black person can join our white church, but their Black culture is not welcome because their Black culture is embedded with, and he rattles off the most horrific sins. So let me just say this: we are a Black church and really proud to be a Black church. And that does, because for some reason there's a group of people that think it's antithetical that you can't be Black and Christian, right? And so we can embrace our Black culture and embrace Christianity, and they are not in opposition with each other. Just need to throw that in real quick. I'm gonna talk more about that next week when I get past this really heavy weekend. But I'm gonna have a lot to say about that on my show on Monday. The other reason why we're doing this for strategic ministry excellence, like Paul running to win, we're eliminating redundancy and creating specialized excellence in every ministry area. Digital discipleship and media, I'm not reading this verbatim, y'all, because you can read it at your leisure. Digital discipleship and media will extend our global reach through broadcast services, social media engagement, web design, and emerging technology integration, including artificial intelligence applications. Our digital platforms will serve members worldwide, providing online discipleship resources and creating virtual community experiences that complement our in-person worship. Campus management will maximize our physical assets. The structure eliminates the inefficiency of multiple departments doing similar work. It will create centers of excellence that attract talented volunteers and staff, and establishes accountability systems that ensure consistent quality across all ministry areas. We're also doing it for leadership as a leadership development pipeline. The personal development and discipleship area structure creates intentional leadership development pathways, ensuring the next generation carries forward both competence and character. So this isn't accidental leadership emergence, but systematic development that identifies, trains, and deploys leaders at every level of ministry. Our Ministers in Training program will provide theological education, practical ministry experience, and mentorship relationships that prepare emerging pastors and ministry leaders. Small group leadership development will create multiplication systems where every leader train additional leaders. Specialized ministry training equips volunteers for excellence in their service area while building pathways for increased responsibility. Financial multiplication and stewardship is the other reason why we're doing it. This structure leverages our strong financial position for maximum kingdom impact through strategic resource allocation and revenue diversification. Our disciplined expense management has produced consistent positive cash flow, again, maintaining $1.2 million in liquid assets while supporting rapid ministry expansion. Campus management and services, I've already talked about the multiple income streams attached to that. Fiscal services and compliance, I talked a little bit about that. Operational efficiency and professional excellence. The restructure eliminates operational inefficiencies, creates professional level systems that support ministry excellence. Digital systems integration will streamline communication, enhance member experience, and provide data-driven insights for strategic decision-making. Human resources and payroll management will ensure competitive compensation, professional development opportunities, and workplace excellence that attracts and retains talented staff. Y'all, we have a great staff. If you haven't already put in some clap hand emojis to celebrate the presenters and the staff, would you do that? Because I'm very appreciative of the phenomenal staff we have. We want to retain them. Y'all should type in amen. We want to retain them, and we want to attract other quality people that believe in what the Lord is doing here. We're also doing it for comprehensive member care and holistic community impact. We're restructuring because we care about the members. So the membership care and wellness department is going to create a seamless experience from first-time guests to mature disciples, and again, addressing physical, emotional, spiritual, and relational needs through all life stages. Let's just jump down to finishing 2025 strong. As we implement this restructure, we're also positioning ourselves to finish 2025 in our strongest financial position yet. Within the next few weeks, you'll receive your third quarter giving statements, along with a personalized letter from me outlining our fourth quarter opportunities and priorities. The final quarter of this year traditionally represents our highest giving period. And this year presents unique opportunities to exceed previous records. Your end-of-year giving not only supports current ministry operations, but also funds the infrastructure needed for our restructure implementation. Every additional dollar you give in the fourth quarter will directly enable enhanced programming, improved facilities, and expanded community impact. So as you review your third quarter giving statement, prayerfully consider your capacity to increase your giving year end, whether through increased weekly tithing, giving to pastoral support, or Project Thrive. Your additional stewardship enables us to enter 2026 with maximum momentum for our new organization restructure. From Thanksgiving offerings to year-end gifts, Christmas, Watch Night, National Day of Giving offerings, the fourth quarter provides multiple opportunities to participate in God's work through Word Tabernacle. Your generosity during this crucial period ensures that our restructure launches with adequate funding for excellence in every department. Where there is no revelation, people cast off restraint, but blessed is the one who heeds wisdom's instructions. This restructure anticipates the Community Development Corporation that we will form that will tackle housing, economic development, educational equity. It will create capacity for the Impact Academy expansion, increased civic engagement, and the comprehensive community initiatives God has shown us in prayer and in planning. Like Nehemiah organizing Jerusalem's restoration with strategic precision, We're building infrastructure for the greater works Jesus is promising. We're not just adding programs. We're creating a comprehensive community ecosystem where transformation touches every area of life. As we serve multiple generations simultaneously, from digital members to seasoned saints, this structure creates space for everyone. Our older members who remember how things used to be will provide wisdom and stability. Our younger members who see what could be will bring innovation and energy. I'm older now, y'all. I don't have the energy I used to have. The restructure honors both perspectives while creating pathways for sustainable growth. Some folks prefer traditional ministry models. Others want cutting-edge innovation. The truth is, effective ministry requires both and thinking, not either or limitations. Our new structure creates space for small groups and social media, for traditional choirs and contemporary worship, for in-person fellowship and digital discipleship. Here's the real talk. Restructuring requires sacrifice. Some of our beloved programs may be eliminated. Certain roles will shift, and some staff may change. Comfortable patterns will be disrupted. But hear this, family. The cost of not changing is higher. Missed opportunities, decreased effectiveness, and potential decline. We're investing in professional excellence that matches our spiritual passion. We're hiring expertise that complements our heart for ministry. We're building systems that can handle the complexity of multiple campuses, multiple age groups, diverse economic backgrounds, and comprehensive community impact. The transition won't be perfect. There will be bumps, adjustments, and learning curves. So I ask for your grace. But remember, we've navigated challenges before, including a global pandemic that shut down most ministries while we grew stronger. So we've proven that with God's guidance and unified commitment, obstacles become opportunities. This restructure transforms us from a church with programs to a comprehensive community ecosystem. It prepares us for the next 20 years of ministry with the same innovation and excellence that brought us this far. For I know the plans that I have for you, says the Lord. Plans to prosper you, to not harm you, to give you hope, and to give you a future. Jeremiah 29. 20 years of God's faithfulness becomes the foundation for generational impact. This restructure isn't about getting bigger, it's about getting better. It's not about complexity, it's about creating clarity. We're not changing our mission, we're just going to maximize our effectiveness. The same God who brought us from a handful to over 3,000 is preparing us for whatever comes next. So I would ask you to trust the process, embrace the changes, and stay committed to the vision. After all, the best is indeed in front of us. Until all thrive, Pastor G. And so that is my State of the Church report with heavy emphasis and focus on where we're headed and the restructure. If you have questions before we adjourn, I will take those questions now, and I'll wait to see if those who are in the studio with me. Please provide your name and your member number so that we can have a record of what the question may be. Any questions, guys? Nothing? So the question is about how do you make suggestions? There's a contact us form online. If you would use that contact form online, we can take your feedback and process it. I'll also tell you, you are a part of a church with full-time staff. So let me tell you the wild thing about Word Tabernacle. If you call the phone to call the church, somebody gonna answer. Like that's, and I know that's like, because I'm telling you, most churches, If you call, you're not going to get a person. 9 to 5, Monday through Thursday, you are going to get someone. And then, of course, we're all here on Sunday. So really, Sunday through Thursday, it's easy to get an answer. So please call, email, or use the contact form so that we can address your questions. Well, family, that is our business meeting. Almost 2 hours long, but, it's so much to cover in this ministry, and we rush through it. We could spend hours talking about how good God has been, the faithful work of the ministry, and the faithful work of the people who are staff, leaders, and members. I want to thank you again for your giving. I want to thank you again for your serving. I neglected to say this in my State of the Church report, but in addition to your third quarter statements, we'll also give statements to members who have not yet given this year. We want to know what's going on. We want to know, is there a hardship? We want to know, how can we help you? We want to know, is it possible that you've moved on to another ministry? So be ready for that email as well. So you'll receive the giving statement. It'll show a zero giving balance, but you'll also hear my heart about how we'd like to change that and turn that around. So can't wait to see you tomorrow. Services at 8 and at 10. I'm still in the series on 1 Samuel. I'm in chapter number 18. I'm going to be talking about the jealous spirit that Saul receives as a result of seeing the success of David. It's going to be life transformative. I love you. I'm grateful for you. I celebrate you. And there's a question. Notes, this presentation will be on the Ministry One app and available to you in the next couple of hours. So you'll be able to click on a tile, Ministry One app, and you'll be able to see this presentation. All right, y'all, have a great day. Lord, I thank you for every member, every partner, and every person that calls Word Tabernacle Church home. I thank you for our staff. I thank you for our leaders. I thank you for how you're moving in our midst. Thank you for trusting us. You're trusting us with your people, and you're trusting us with resources. And God, we don't take any of that for granted. Help us to receive wisdom day by day, that we might increase in our knowledge and understanding, that we might be faithful stewards. So God, thank you for what you're doing. I pray a release of your choice and assorted blessings, that it might rest, rule, and abide with your people now, today, and forever. In Jesus' name, amen. See you tomorrow.